It's rolling.
Oh, this is great.
Johnny, it's on.
So, what's making that noise? Savannah, is this thing on?
Yes.
Ah, Jesus, why didn't you tell me?
I did.
All right, well, hey, Johnny Lesko here, addict alcoholic. And a funny thing happened on the way to my recovery. You know, after practicing law for 14 years, I was kind of lost trying to figure out how my life was so much better in recovery. My first job in recovery was working at the counter at Dunkin' Donuts. So, you know, earning less than minimum wage, wearing that orange costume, serving up the donuts and the coffee to people who didn't even look at you. It was really kind of hard for me to understand why my life was so great. But some things happened. I was working in Dunkin' Donuts and I met a guy named Fred. Fred was about my age and a really nice guy. It just so happened that Fred was homeless. So he spent a lot of time in Dunkin' Donuts. He'd come in there and read the newspaper for hours, watch TV, and milk a cup of coffee forever. So when it came a point when I had to drive to Cleveland, Ohio, and I needed someone to go with me because I knew that if I was alone that long, I might have some problems and do something stupid. So I asked Fred to go, and Fred agreed and he rode up with me. And everything went great. We made it just fine. So we got to my mother's house, and my mother's house was kind of a shrine. She and my father had been married for 60 years, raised 6 kids. So they had a wall full of 8x10 photos of their children. So Fred was studying the photos on this wall for a long time, probably 10 minutes. And at one point he turned around to me and he said, "Who are all these people in these pictures with your mother? It's the same people in every photo." And I told him, "Well, those are my siblings." So Fred asked me, "Why aren't you in any of them?" It just struck me at that point. Maybe my life was better in recovery. Because when I was before recovery, that was my life. I wasn't in any of the photos. I showed up on my mother's 80th birthday after the photographer had already left and the dinner was already cleaned up. I showed up at Christmas one year in a suit with gifts, but it was the day after Christmas. So that one didn't work out either. Didn't make that photo. And that was just my life. That was just my life before I got into recovery. So now I have some bad days and things, I don't have all the answer all the time, but I make it into the photos. I can show up on time when I say I'm going to be there, and I can participate. I participate in life now. And that's the funny thing and the great thing that happened in my recovery. And in fact, it keeps getting better. That article I was reading, now, that's about me. That's why it's the best article. And here's my picture and everything. And this is at the UF and Shands magazine. And, you know, things just keep getting better. Thanks.